Welcome back to Picks and Predictions NFL Week 10. Let's get into it. All right, on Thursday Night Football, we're going to have the hay burner that everybody has been looking forward to the entire year. It's going to be sneaky good. It's going to determine everything. We're going to have the Panthers versus the Bears. Yes, it's a crap fest. And you know what the best part of this one is? It doesn't even matter who wins or loses because the Bears get both teams' first round picks. And for that reason, I actually think the Bears are going to take advantage of this situation and the Panthers are going to win. And the Bears are going to get their pick. So Panthers win this one. Next up, another hay burner gonna be in Germany. Oh, what the international audience was asking for this entire time is gonna be Colts versus the Pats. That's right. Oh man, two just top tier teams. And if you looked at last year, definitely would have predicted they'd be top tier teams this year as well. That's right. Germans, hold on to your seats because this one's gonna go down like a ship. It's going to be a terrible game. But I do think the Colts are going to run away with it. So, the Colts will win in Germany. All right, now we're going to have an actually good game. A really good game. We're going to have an AFC North matchup. The Browns and the Ravens. That's right. We're going to have the Browns versus the Browns. And I think the Browns are going to win. Wait, we're going to have the Browns versus the Ravens. That's right. Baltimore versus Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns will beat the Baltimore Browns. Ravens. The Baltimore Browns will... The Cleveland Browns are going to win. Don't forget to grab a fresh subscription to TSST. All right, now we're going to have the Packers versus the Steelers. Now, if you know anything about this channel, I give the most fair and honest picks I possibly could. The Packers are an absolute terrible team in Disaster Town. They got a win last week for the first time since week 3. The Steelers have been doing weirdly good like they always do. Tomlin does not get losing seasons. He's never had one, in fact. And because of that, I'm picking the Packers. That's right. I'm picking the Packers. The Packers will win. 49ers versus the Jaguars. This should be a pretty darn good game. Two very good teams. 49ers coming off a bye. The Jaguars coming off of bye. Now, the 49ers have had a rough patch, though they did face at least two pretty good teams. The Jaguars just been doing great. It's going to be a very tough pick, but I'm going to give the edge to the 49ers. I think they're going to get themselves right. And if they don't get right after this game, they're going to be in a world of hurt, that's for sure. So 49ers for this one. We're going to have the Saints versus the Vikings. Two pretty okay, I guess, not really teams. Dobbs did pretty darn good with the Vikings after literally not practicing with them. Very impressive. The Saints, they're in a bad division, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to give this one to the Vikings. I think they're going to ride that power. They're going to ride the wave. They have a sneaky good record so far. So I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to make this competitive. And I think that they're going to make the Lions sweat a little bit in the division. I think the Lions will get away with it. But I think they're definitely going to at least give them a hard time about it. Vikings will win. Next up, we're going to have the Texans versus the Bengals. I don't think the Texans stand a chance, though. CJ Stroud's been looking super good as a complete team. I just don't think they have it over. The Bengals are a pretty darn good team. Nobody that's a big name on there is really a rookie anymore, so the Bengals are going to get away with this one. Not just being a homer this time, though I would pick the Bengals regardless. Let's be honest. I'm picking the Bengals every single time. But I actually do think that the Bengals will take easy work of the Texans, so the Bengals will win. Titans at Bucks. Ooh, the Titans struggling this year. The Bucks started the season off looking pretty good, and they've kind of fallen off. This past week, though, Baker played a good game. The Bucks played a good game, but the Texans really just at the end just took the wind right out of their sails. Either way, though, I don't think the Titans have it in them. I think the Bucks are still a competitive team. I think they're still trying to take their division, and the division's really not that hard overall. I am going to take the Bucks over a relatively easy Titans team. So Buccaneers. Lions versus the Chargers. We did just see the Chargers spank the Jets, but honestly, we all watched that game. Chargers didn't do that good. Their special teams did pretty darn good. Their defense was all right. The Jets' offense just didn't do a damn thing. So, yeah, the Lions are a significantly better team. They have a bunch of momentum. I am definitely picking the Lions. Falcons versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals are hot doo-doo garbage. They are full on tank mode. I thought they were tank mode at the beginning of the season. Then they made me think again. They were like, wait a minute. They beat the Cowboys. They're hanging in some of these games. No, no, no. The Cardinals have just perfected the art of the tank. It is a beautiful piece of motion. It is beautiful art happening around us. Watching this Cardinals team tank to the degree that they are. It's absolutely beautiful. Beat a good or at least decent Cowboys team and then have some close games, but you're still only a one-win team. Make yourself look the caliber of the Panthers. Beautiful. I think it's time that they got another win, though. And I think this is their window for win, though. Something like that. So I'm going to pick the Cardinals to get this one. Giants versus them boys. A divisional game. The Giants love giving the boys a hard time. That's what Giants do best. Because you know what boys don't like to do? Boys don't like to eat their vegetables. Boys take their vegetables and go, ew, no, I'm not eating that green crap. Yeah, well, the Jolly Green Giant, he's got other things to say about it. He's got to sell produce. He's pushing produce. So he's getting the boys' moms in on this one. That's right. So I'm going to have to give this one still to the boys. The Giants are an absolute terrible team. The boys will put up a hissy fit. They're going to be persistent. Mom's going to say, that's it. You're going to go to bed without dinner then. And the boys are going to be like, oh, no, no. We're going to eat. Because we're going to eat the Giants themselves. And their mom's going to be like, Giants are mythical creatures. They don't exist. And be like, no, they do. And they're trying to peddle this crap. You're trying to feed us. We want protein, not fiber. Cowboys are going to win. The Commies versus the Seahawks. Two pretty mediocre teams, though the Seahawks did lead their division last week for one single week. Then they got the pants spanked right off of them. I'm gonna give this one to the Seahawks either way. The Commanders are in kind of a rebuild kind of mode. They're not in tank mode, but they're definitely in a rebuild mode. They got new ownership. They're figuring themselves out as an organization at this point, and I think they just need the whole season, so I think the Seahawks are really going to get in there more, and I think they're going to get away with it. The Jets versus the Raiders. And on my list here, I have the Jets. So I think that's a great way to leave this game. I think that the Jets are going to win this one. 0% confidence. Actually, I think the Raiders are probably going to. Jets are trying to stay competitive, though, and I wrote it down. And I already went back on one of the things I wrote down, and normally I don't go back on anything. So I gotta go with the Jets. Broncos versus the Bills. The Bills have been struggling. I think their problem is that they're predictable. The teams are going in and figuring them out. The Broncos are still a really bad team. I know. They beat the Chiefs, and then they had a bye. But there's also a divisional game when they were playing the Chiefs. And honestly, they've always kind of had the Chiefs' number, at least a little bit. The Chiefs have been squeaking those wins out. And you see something like, oh, they've won the past 16 straight, except most of those were pretty darn close games. And the Chiefs have been a dominant team where the Broncos have been a very non-dominant team. So the fact that historically that's been happening, it's just one of those divisional things. I think the Bills are going to get a get-right game on this one. I live in Western New York. Bills fans are down on themselves right now in a strange, cathartic kind of way. But anyways, they're still in it. I do believe in the Bills. The Bills will at least wild card in. Dolphins are looking a little rough too. They might be able to pull out the division. I mean, it's them and the Dolphins. But anyways, I think they're going to take advantage of this Broncos team, and they are going to win. On bye this week, we're going to have the Chiefs the Rams, the Dolphins, and the Eagles. This has been the picks and predictions for Week 10 of the NFL in 2023. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment if you could be so kind. And you know what? What's your favorite kind of tape? Duct tape? Scotch tape? Packaging tape? Videotape? Cassette tape? There's all kinds of tape. What's your favorite tape? All right, the tape stuff got a little weird. I mean, comment anything you want, really. Anyways, thank you for joining us, and I hope that you have yourself a good rest of your evening.